the costs move around, right? There's a big difference between renting and owning. When you rent, oh, my heater went out, call the landlord. When you own, oh, the heater went out, I got to put money and pay for that. It's a paradigm shift in how people kind of think of their savings. And what I tell people is, don't just assume that once you make your mortgage payment, you're done paying for the house. Be under the expectation that you need to set money aside for unforeseen things that are going to happen. You want to budget a certain percentage of your budget towards that, and just don't assume that you're done paying for the house because you made your taxes, insurance. They don't have any reserves when they close, and so they're one catastrophe away from foreclosure. We see that with a lot of borrowers. They're not 100% ready to buy, but they want to buy. So. Oh, it's so great to buy a house, but it's not great. Losing a house is way worse than buying a house. You just have to do the math and see if you can afford it. If you can afford it, then buy a house. If you're going to stay there long enough, buy a house. One of the greatest things about home ownership is it's probably the biggest tax loophole we have. It creates forced savings, right? Because your principal that you put into the home buys down this big expensive debt that you end up owning an asset. Assets are hedged against inflation, so when there's inflation, your home appreciates in value. So if you like it and you can afford it, then buy it. I also don't think people should buy homes for the purpose of making an investment. I think it's a bad investment. Traditionally, home values only appreciate at the rate of inflation. Nationally, over a 100-year period, homes appreciate right around the rate of inflation. The one thing that most people don't think of when they buy a home is that it forces savings. That's the only reason why it's good for an investment purpose, is that most people don't say, I'm just going to put $1,000 a month into my 401k. If they have that extra money, it burns a hole in their pocket, and then they go on vacation, or they buy a house, another car, or they buy too much clothes, or whatever it made. I say, well, it's the only investment you ever made that you were forced to save and do it every single month.